months that has saved lives.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your indulgence.
Thank you, Senator Rounds, for your thoughtful questioning. Senator Peters, please.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to defer to Senator King and then take the next one.
Senator King is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's a human tendency called the recency effect, and that is to pay most attention to things that happened recently and then sort of lose track. To put it most bluntly, I'm afraid we're taking our eye off the terrorism ball. That because of September 11th is in the 20 years ago, and now we're focused on China and Russia, which I think is appropriate. I just worry that that we're losing focus on the threat of terrorism. The recent attack in Moscow indicates that ISIS wants to attack in other countries. There's no doubt that they would like to attack here, and the technology is developing where they can do so. The thing that keeps me awake at night is nuclear terrorism. If one of these organizations gets their hands on a nuclear weapon, the deterrence doesn't work because they don't have a capital city to worry about. They don't care about dying. Mr. Secretary, I just hope that you will advocate strongly that we maintain the attention both in the intelligence community and the Defense Department on the risk of terrorism. It hasn't gone away.
Senator, your concerns are ones that I share. I've spent most of my career in the counterterrorism community, and I think we have done great things in keeping that threat at a low level. But I think you're recognizing some of the, if you will, asymmetric capabilities and the lack of deterrence of different groups if they get capabilities is something we need to remain very focused on. I think we sometimes forget that the National Defense Strategy has 5 elements to it. We'd like to talk about the PRC in Russia, but one of those is counterterrorism and has been across administrations for a long time. So if we're taking our own direction, sir, it says that counterterrorism remains a focus for this country.
I just want you to be irritating in the councils of the Defense Department on this issue, and I understand that you're very capable of doing that. So please keep pushing, because I don't want a hearing here 5 years from now or 3 years that everybody says, what happened? How did we miss this?
Yes, sir. Well, I will certainly stay on it. Hopefully I don't have a reputation for being that irritating, but on this issue, I think it's very important, sir. So I take your guidance.
Thank you very much. General Hawk, one of the pillars of the cyber strategy is disrupt and dismantle threat actors. My concern is we don't have a deterrent strategy in cyber. We tend to patch, defend, sanction after the fact, but we really don't have a deterrent strategy. I hope that you will pursue defend forward and make it defend aggressively, because if an adversary doesn't have any concern that they're going to pay any price for a cyber attack, whether it's misinformation in one of our elections or a cyber attack on our financial system or our electric grid, if they don't feel that they're going to pay a price, they're going to go ahead. It's a low-cost option for them. And I believe that one of the weaknesses of our cyber strategy over the years has been the lack of a credible deterrent, which requires an offensive capability and the adversary fearing the use of that offensive capability by cybercom.
Senator, I think this is exactly where the department wants us to go. So when we think integrated deterrence and we think about it in cyberspace, it's about how do we come together with a bunch of partners that all can make it more difficult for an adversary to operate and to impose costs as necessary. That can be industry in terms of ensuring that they are a much more difficult target than they are today. It's our international partners. And so in the DoD cyber strategy, which is how do we accelerate our partnerships with those international elements that can be a teammate that assists in the opposing costs. And then it's about how we use the resources we have to generate capabilities that allow us to have the effects that you're discussing. And I think those are the areas that we also view in how we think about Cyber Command 2.0, which is how we use all the authorities you've given us to now have the greatest effect for the best interests of the nation.
Well, as I say, I think the heart of deterrence is capacity and will, but another piece of it is that the adversary has to know about the capacity, otherwise it doesn't deter them. Right now we're experiencing a sophisticated, consistent, and purposeful misinformation attack from Russia with regard to Ukraine. And it's very reminiscent of the attack of the Nazis in the late 30s in terms of the pro-Nazi propaganda here in the United States, which went up to and included members of Congress. This is an attack. This is an effort to disrupt our political process by a foreign agent. And this is one of the things that the framers of this Constitution most feared. And we have to be active and not just say, oh, well, it's just the Russians again. I believe, again, I'm advocating a strong response that will make them think twice before they undertake such an attack.
Senator, I understand, and I do believe that both the PRC and Russia understand our capabilities, and I'd like to be able to walk through with you in the closed session some examples of that.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator